الحمد لله الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين وقال الله تعالى قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب. My dear respected friends, elders and brothers, in last week's khutbah, we spoke about the importance of knowledge and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given each Bani Adam this tool of knowledge which helps guide Bani Adam in this world and in the hereafter to become successful. We discussed some of the virtues that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to those, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to those that become the students of knowledge and those that bring knowledge into their lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about this in one of the ayat, قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ إِنَّمَا يَتَذَكَّرُ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. And we spoke about some of the dangers and harms when a person simply thinks it's enough to be an abid, a worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he does not go and seek knowledge and does not become a student of knowledge and does not increase his knowledge, how it can become a danger and harm for him in the future, in this life and in the hereafter. In today's brief khutbah, inshallah, we will discuss a couple of qualities that one that goes to seek knowledge, or when one amasses this knowledge, what are some of the qualities that should be inculcated by this person? What are the signs that the knowledge that this person is getting or is achieving or acquiring, it is a path that will lead him to Jannah? Like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "Man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilma, sahhala Allahu lahu tariqan ila al-Jannah." In this hadith, we understand that in reality, knowledge is a path that leads a person to Jannah. But sometimes acquiring this knowledge, when certain steps are not taken, it can actually turn in the opposite direction. It can become a means of burden for that individual. The first quality when a person is acquiring knowledge and becoming a student of knowledge, whether it be in our jami'at, whether it be in our universities, wherever a person is going to acquire knowledge. And this is something which is foundational in every action a believer does. Every action we do in our life, every day, when we wake up in the morning till we sleep, there is an action a person does. And if he does it according to what Allah wants him to do, it will be rewarding for him. If he does it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he will be rewarded for it. Take the example of a person who wakes up in the morning. He does not even have a cup of water. Passes the entire day till nighttime. He does not have a bite of food. He does not bite on anything, does not have any drink. He goes home tired at night, and then he goes to the kitchen and eats something. He did not touch one drop of water the whole day. Simply for the fact that he did not make the intention of fasting, he will not acquire anything except hunger. If he had to, when he wake up, make the intention of fasting, then it will become a means of reward for him. The example of someone who is helping out someone, carrying his grocery bags, helping someone in need, helping someone financially, helping their children do their homework, whatever it may be. A person, he's helping, but if he does not do it with the intention that I'm doing it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will not be rewarded. He will not be rewarded for that action. In the same way, when a person goes out to seek knowledge, wherever it may be, if his intention is that I am doing it for myself or any other ulterior motive, and it is not to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is not for the sake of Allah, there will be no reward for this person going to seek knowledge. Many of us know the famous hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But before I get to that hadith, I'm going to share the story how this hadith, when did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mention this hadith? And from this, we will maybe create an understanding how important the intention of a believer is in a life of a believer. There was a sahabiya by the name of Muhajir Qais radiyallahu ta'ala anha. She accepted Islam in Mecca. When she accepted Islam, she lived with Rasulullah. She lived in Mecca, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She accepted the da'wah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and accepted Islam. After accepting Islam, time passed, and she got engaged to someone in Mecca, and they had an agreement that no matter where you will be, after a certain amount of time, we will get married. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Medina, he told the people of Mecca, the Muslims of Mecca, to also migrate to Medina. And it was known as the amal of hijrah. It was known as the action of hijrah. And the people that traveled and made hijrah, they were called muhajirun. And it was such a great action. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-hijratu tahdimu ma kana qabla." That hijrah, going from Mecca to Medina, because you're leaving everything behind, your house, your businesses, everything, it will remove all the sins you have committed in the past. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive all these sins. Qais radiyallahu ta'ala anha, she also migrates to Medina. When she migrates to Medina, her fiance, which is in Mecca, he writes to her that I want to get married to you now. And he's restless without her. So she says, yeah, for sure we can get married, but you will have to make hijrah as well. When she makes hijrah to Medina, the Sahaba start talking amongst themselves, and they say, this person has made hijrah, but has made hijrah for the sake of this woman, to get married to this woman. So they kept his name Muhajir Qais, the one who migrated for the case for Qais. When he migrated to Medina, the story reached Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam heard of this, he did not say anything. He went to the masjid, and in the evening he gave a khutbah. In that khutbah, he gave a very beautiful hadith. And every single one of us knows this hadith. And Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لامرئ ما نوى فمن كانت هجرته فهجرته إلى الله ورسوله ومن كانت هجرته لدنيا يصيبها أو امرأة ينكحها فهجرته إلى ما هاجر إليه متفق عليه. Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu says, we heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam say that insan's actions, Bani Adam's actions, the actions of a believer is according to his intentions. And according to his intentions, he will be rewarded for this. According to his intentions, he will be rewarded for this. فَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فَهِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. That person who makes hijrah for Allah and His Rasul, then it will be for Allah and His Rasul, and Allah will reward him for that hijrah. But وَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ لِدُنْيَا, that person who makes hijrah and migrates for any kind of ulterior motive, for another maqsad, another reason, to get some dunya, Allah will give him that dunya, and his migration will be for that dunya. وَمَنْ كَانَ هِجْرَتُهُ لدنيا يصيبها أو امرأة ينكحها فهجرة إلى ما هاجر إليه. If a person migrates for the sake of getting married to someone, his migration will be for that marrying someone. From this hadith, we learn how essential and foundational it is and how important it is when a person does something, he does it for the sake of Allah. We can be going to any university, we can be going to any of the lectures, any of the halaqas. But when we are going with the intention of learning, it should be for Allah and His Rasul. On the day of judgment, 3 people will be called in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will be the first to be made hisab of. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask them, they will be famous, and they will be those people that have done big actions, great actions in the eyes of people and Allah and His Rasul. Someone who spent charity day and night, he gave charity for the sake of Allah and His Rasul. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call him and ask him, I gave you this wealth, what did you do with it? He said, oh Allah, I left no corner left without spending for your sake. He said, no, you did not do this for my sake. You did it so that people can tell you that you are a generous person, so people can praise you. People can tell you in society that this person is a great person. He's a great donor. So Allah will take him and throw him into Jahannam. On the second person will be called up, will be someone who got martyred for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was a shaheed. He was a martyr for the sake of Allah. He fought in every single battle. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take him and ask him, why did you fight in the path of Allah? Why did you fight in my path? So he will say, I fought for you, O Allah. I fought so that I can please you. So he said, no, you fought because you wanted to please the people, and so that you can be called the brave person, and Allah will take him and throw him into Jahannam. The third person will be called, he will be a scholar, he will be a teacher, he will be having a lot of knowledge, and he used to recite the Quran very beautifully. Allah will call him on the day of judgment and ask him, why did you do all of this? What did you do with the knowledge that I gave you? And he will say, I spread it to people, and I made people benefit from this knowledge. Allah will tell him, no, you did it so people can call you a great scholar. You did it so that people can praise your knowledge, so people can praise your voice. Allah will take him and throw him into Jahannam. So whenever a person does an action in his life, he should check before the action, during the action, after the action. Why did I do this action? When a person is going to seek knowledge, he's going to the halaqat, he's listening to a lecture. Why am I listening to this? Why am I attending this Friday khutbah? What is it that I have come here for? It is to make Allah and His Rasul be pleased with me. Rasulullah sallallahu, many times we think we have to do big amounts of work. We have to do great actions. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam turned to Mu'adh bin Jabal radiallahu anhu, and he said, Ya Mu'adh, akhlis dinak. Bring sincerity in your religion. Akhlis dinak. Yakfika al-amalul qalil. Little actions will be beneficial for you. Sometimes we think we have to do a whole lot. Deen is so big, we have to do a lot of things. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling Mu'adh bin Jabal radiallahu anhu, let's do small actions and it will suffice for you. It will yakfika. It will suffice for you, and Allah will be pleased with you, compared to someone doing a lot. He's doing so much. He's tiring his body, his soul, his energy. Everything is being exerted. He's studying day and night. But it is to achieve something for someone else, not for Allah and His Rasul. When a person does this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept this. So this is one of the first qualities one of the first signs that a person should have when he is going to acquire this knowledge. The second quality, before I get to the second quality, I forgot one more incident. This happened in the Battle of Qadisiyah. Qadisiyah was when Umar bin Farooq radiallahu anhu sent his army to Persia to conquer the Persian army, the Persian lands. When he sent Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, they started negotiations with the Persian army. And when these negotiations fell apart and they did not come to a conclusion and they did not come to an agreement, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas sent them to fight. And while the fight was happening 3 days non-stop, day and night they were fighting. And the fight is really great in the history books, and one should read on it. And what happened is one of the leaders of the Persians was known as Rustam. Rustam was killed in this battle. And when he was killed, he was wearing a very expensive crown. And this crown was very expensive. It had a lot of jewels on them. And this crown was lost during this battle. And no one knew where this crown went. After the battle finished, 3 days later, someone came to the tent of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu. Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu is that Sahabi which was the maternal uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Amina radiallahu anha was cousins of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu. When someone came to the tent of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu, he said, "Who is it?" He said, I am no one. I'm here to give you some amana. So he went to Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu anhu and opened his bag, and he gave him the crown that the Persian emperor was wearing, Rustam. When he gave him this crown, he looked at it and he looked at the youngster. He looked at the crown and he looked at the youngster couple of times. And he thought to himself that, why is this person bringing this back? And he posed a question to him, that who are you and why are you bringing this back? So he said, he did not give an answer, and he posed this question a couple of times. And this youngster, after a while, said, my Allah knows who I am, and my Allah knows where I live, and my Allah knows what action I have done. The reason I took this away was so that I did not want it to get lost. But I am asking you to take this back to Amirul Mu'mineen Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu and give it back to him as an amana. This was the ikhlas. This was the sincerity that the people of the past possessed. This is why we need to bring this kind of sincerity, and when we do things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and renew our intentions, why we are doing such actions in our lives. The second sign and quality a person should have while possessing knowledge, while acquiring knowledge, while becoming a student of knowledge, is the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu says that لَيْسَ الْعِلْمُ بِكَثْرَةِ الرِّوَايَاتِ وَلَكِنَّ الْعِلْمُ الْخَشْيَةِ. That Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu says that knowledge is not that which a person narrates a lot of riwayat. A person narrates a lot of things and he knows a lot of things, but it is the khashya, the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When knowledge comes to us, and knowledge comes to us in any aspect, we should understand it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has given this to me as an amana, as a safeguarding. And when it comes to me, it should make a person more obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. That the people that fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the ones that have knowledge. The people that have true knowledge are the people that actually fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third quality that a person who has knowledge or is going to acquire knowledge is when he gets this knowledge, he puts it into practice. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullah alayh, who was a very famous scholar, many of us know him. He was a great muhaddith, he was a great faqih, and he was one of the great four scholars. He says, مَا كَتَبْتُ حَدِيثًا عَنِ النَّبِيِّ صلى الله عليه وسلم وَقَدْ عَمِلْتُ بِهِ. That I have never written a hadith. I have never written a hadith until I have practiced upon this hadith. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullah alayh, he memorized 1 million ahadith. Now imagine how many ahadith he practiced upon. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling us to also practice on whatever knowledge we have to practice upon it. So whatever knowledge we get, whatever little bit knowledge we have, we should practice upon it. Sometimes we think that knowledge should be in huge amounts. It should be in great amounts. But when we analyze and we see the people of the past, they had much less knowledge compared to what is accessible to us today. We can go onto the computer and we can have 100 riwayat downloaded in few minutes. We can have different books of fiqh downloaded in a few seconds onto our hard drive. And we can download different lectures and different books of hadith. But when we look at the people of the past, we will see that they, even though they had less than us, but they had more barakah in their knowledge. They had more practice in their knowledge. And what was that? Why was that? And the reason for that, ulama say, is because the people of the past, they had to struggle for their knowledge. When a person is going to seek knowledge, one of the qualities of a person who is seeking knowledge, he will have to struggle and make effort for that knowledge. If a person does not struggle and he does not make effort, it will be hard for a person to bring it into his life. When a person is given something for free, he does not appreciate it. Compared to a person who is given something with effort, he appreciates it. And this is why this brings us to one narration of Imam Bukhari rahmatullah alayh. He mentions in his chapter heading that Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu, he makes travel, he goes for travel for 1 month for one narration. Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu, he travels for one narration for 1 month. He mentions this hadith of Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu. Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu is that Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam he accepted Islam when he was very young, at the mere age of 16, 15, 17. And when he accepted Islam, he lived a very long life. And when he lived this long life, the brother is asking if we can all stand up, inshallah, for a short while and come fill in our sufuf. Jazakallahu khairan. If we can all stand up and make our sufs and fill in the gaps so that the people that are coming can also sit. Jazakallahu khairan. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمد عبده ورسوله. As I was saying, one of the qualities of a person that goes out to seek knowledge is he struggles for the knowledge. He does not expect it to be given to him on a silver platter or for free. Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu, he sets out on this journey for 1 month. The first thing he does is he purchases a camel. And he goes to Damascus for one hadith. He goes to the house of Abdullah bin Unais radiallahu anhu. And he knocks on the door of Abdullah bin Unais radiallahu anhu and he asks, is Abdullah bin Unais there? So Abdullah bin Unais radiallahu anhu comes out and sees, and he's astonished that Jabir bin Abdullah is at my doorsteps. Why has this Sahabi come to my doorstep? So he asks Jabir bin Abdullah that, why have you come here? So he says that, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned one hadith, only me and you are alive from that day, so that I want to verify this hadith. Everyone else that was there has passed away. So I want to verify the words of the hadith with you. Do you know the hadith of the madlama, of the day of judgment? So Abdullah bin Unais radiallahu anhu says, yes, I know it very well. So he says that, and he starts mentioning the narration, and he said, on the day of judgment, people will come and they will be uratan, ghurlan, bughma. So they will be naked, they will be uncircumcised, and they will be without any baggage. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says further that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make an announcement that لا ينبغي لأحد أن يدخل الجنة, that no one can enter Jannah until he pays whatever is due on him. If he owes someone any right, if he owes anyone some money, then he will have to pay this before he can enter Jannah. So Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu hears this hadith and immediately returns back to Medina. Now he travels 1 month to Damascus and 1 month back. Now when he hears this hadith, can you imagine the impact it had in his life compared to that hadith which we are listening to today, where we can go home and listen to this hadith again and again over a tape recorder? When we listen to this hadith, it will obviously not have the impact that it had in the life of Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu. So more importantly, we need to struggle for the knowledge. We need to go out of our way, and wherever knowledge is being taught, we need to go and pursue that path of knowledge so that we can be successful in this world and in the hereafter. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر وأشهدهم في أمر الله عمر وأصدقهم حيان وعثمان وأقضاهم عليه وفاطمة سيدة نساء أهل الجنة والحسن والحسين سيدا شباب أهل الجنة رضي الله عنه وعن الصحابة أجمعين اللهم اغفر للعباس وولده مغفرة ظاهرة وباطنة لا تغادر ذنبه اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. Straighten this up.